So today we're going to chat about creating your very own mood board. So if you've ever started a design or started a brand and you're like, where the heck am I meant to start with this, how this is meant to look, then a mood board is what you need. And mood board in essence is just this collection of images and inspiration. They're not your pictures, the pictures you found potentially online. So we're going to look today that you can use as inspiration, as a bit of a visual springboard to how your brand can look. So you don't have to start from scratch. It's one of my favorite techniques that I use before I start every single brand project and what I teach my students to use before they start any of their branding projects. So let's get into it. So my name is Jackie, and if we haven't met yet, I am a graphic designer who just loves teaching business owners how they can create their own incredible brand and graphics, because there is such a power in design, and when you do it right, it can do incredible things for your brand and for your business. And so mood boards are a really key part of doing a really great job with our branding, with our designs. But before we start, I want to just address one thing. If you already have a brand, don't just create a new brand for the sake of it. But if you are ready to create a new brand or you're creating a brand from scratch, this mood board is going to be incredible for you. Doing a rebrand is something you really want to think twice about, because there's a lot of recognizability that comes from a brand. And so if you've been using a similar kind of look for a couple of years now or for a few months now, changing that up just because you get bored can be a really easy way to put to the detriment what your brand looks like and how people recognize your brand. And so don't just rebrand because you're bored, but a great reason to rebrand is because your brand is getting a little bit tired and old. You might have had it for a few years. A great reason to rebrand might be because you haven't actually branded properly in the first place. You've kind of just been picking random designs, picking random styles throughout the whole life of your business. Or a great reason to rebrand might be because your niche or your audience has shifted and your new brand needs to represent this. Maybe you've changed to a different market. Maybe you've done a slightly different twist on your product or your service, and that could be a great reason to rebrand. But remembering that the purpose of a brand is to really create this really intense form of recognizability and loyalty with you and your audience. And so that's what we want to do today, is make sure that we create a really great brand that we're building it upon something. So I'm going to teach you the things to base that on, and the exact strategies that I use to create an actual mood board that I find will be really helpful in the design process. Obviously, this is just one little snapshot of the design process. There's a lot of thinking that should go before this and a lot of thinking that should go after this. But for the actual mood board stage, I want to get you with this video. And so as you're creating your brand to start with, you want to be thinking through some really important parts about what is my business actually about? Who am I standing for? What kind of questions do I need to ask myself to make sure that I'm actually searching for the right phrases and creating the right mood board to then create me to the next step of creating a brand or a logo from that. So just in case you didn't know, a brand is so much more than just your logo. A brand can be your colors, your fonts, your overall graphic style, so many different things. And that's just the part of your visual brand. I'm not going to go into a full brand rundown right now, but in essence, I want you to be thinking about more than a logo, thinking about the whole vibe that your business has. When someone looks at your business, what are they feeling? And so some great questions to ask yourself, I've got a few that I'm going to put up on the screen for you, is really deciding, what are my brand vibes? Am I going to be modern or classic? Where on the spectrum are you going to sit there? Am I going to be a really high-end offer or really affordable offer? Because if you're high-end, your graphics are going to look a lot different than if you're a really affordable offer. You can imagine if you go into a pizza shop and you see a really expensive looking menu, you're going to say, cool, I'm going to pay $40 for this pizza. But if you walk into a pizza shop and you get given a red and yellow and bright colors menu, you're like, cool, I'm going to pay $5, $10 for this pizza. Our value is set by the way our brand looks. So having that in the back of your mind is really important. Another question to ask yourself, am I going to be more of a feminine brand or more of a masculine brand, or somewhere in the middle or somewhere along that spectrum? Am I going to be a more playful brand or a more serious and corporate brand, or am I going to be somewhere in the middle? Once you've worked out where you sit on that spectrum of those few different questions, just keep that in the back of your mind. The next set of questions I want you to ask yourself is, what are my brand vibes? When someone comes to me and works with me or purchases my product or service from me, what do I want them to feel? Do I want them to feel nurtured? Do I want them to feel inspired? Do I want them to feel calm? Or do I want them to feel playful or energetic or creative? Like, think through the words you want someone to feel when they work with you. Do you want it to feel really beachy and open and airy? Or do you want it to feel really like structured and sophisticated? And like, these different words we're going to use as we search the phrases to find and build your mood board. So it's really important. What I want you to do now is, if you're just watching along with me with this, just grab out a piece of paper or grab out your phone and take some notes and just jot down a few words of what you want people to feel when they work with you, because that's going to really, really help you to have a really great mood board and a really great brand as a result of that, that actually hits the mark, that actually portrays what you want your business to portray, because visuals communicate a whole lot about a business and a whole lot about anything in general. And so as a business, we want to take advantage of the subconscious thoughts and assumptions people are making about visuals to make sure that really aligns with your brand and what you want people to feel when they work with you. For example, if you go to my brand, you'll see it's really colorful and fun and playful. It's because I want people to feel really fun and inspired and playful and creative when they work with me. I don't want them to feel really nurtured and calm. That's not my vibe. It's totally okay if that was your vibe. My branding portrays what I want it to portray, if that makes sense. All right, so once you've asked yourself those questions, the next thing I want you to do is actually get into Pinterest. So if you haven't heard of Pinterest, pretty much Pinterest is just a glorified Google image search, and it is incredible. And I use it with every single design project that I do. No joke, for the last 5-10 years. As long as Pinterest has kind of been around, I've been using it. And so what I want you to do is kind of just, if you haven't already, just have a bit of a scroll of Pinterest. You can make a free account. I'm pretty sure it's all free. Just make an account. And then we have these things that are called boards. So I'm actually just going to open up my Pinterest now to give you a bit of an idea. So there's all these different things called boards. I've got them for lots of personal things. Like when I was singing the top of my hair, I made a whole board about short pictures of people with short hair. And so you can make boards about anything. But what we're going to do is make a board of my brand brainstorm dump. And the idea of this is that you're going to get to create a whole board that's just full of inspiration for your brand. I'm going to create 2 boards, and I need you to know this is part of the process. One board is going to be this whole brand dump. The next board is going to be more refined, but we can't get to that more refined board until we do the brainstorm dumping board. So there's going to be about 5 different phrases that I'm going to suggest that you search, and we're going to pair those phrases that we're going to search in Pinterest. As I said, it's kind of like a glorified Google Images. We're going to search phrases to help us find what we want to find. So I'm going to go to the search tab here, and the first phrase that I just love to kick me off is a really broad phrase, and that's literally graphic design. I love this phrase. Now, you can either pair this with a descriptive word, so say, for example, feminine graphic design, playful graphic design, grounded graphic design, calm graphic design. This is where your words are going to come in handy. So I'm just going to do calm graphic design for the sake of it. You can either just do graphic design if you've got no words, but searching the kind of keywords along with this will help you to kind of start to actually head down the right track rather than seeing thousands of images and not knowing where the heck to start. And so you'll see here that Pinterest just brought up a heap of different images for me. Some of these are hitting the mark, some of them are not. That's totally okay. This idea is just to build some ideas to get my brain thinking of what's actually possible here for me. So if I just scroll down here, you'll see there's going to be things from logos pop up, photos pop up, text to pop up, layouts to pop up. Everything is kind of popping up for me here. And so what I want you to think about as this mood board, this is a bit of a style indicator for your brand. It's not making you decide any one particular logo. It's not saying you have to use this particular color palette or font. It's just starting to build a bit of an inspiration base that you can then use later on as you're crafting your brand. And so don't overthink this. I just want you to pin anything to your brainstorm dumping board of just things that inspire you, things that make you go, oh, that's cool. You may or may not know why that makes you think that looks cool, but whatever it is, just try to find something that resonates a little bit with you, resonates with a little bit with the brand. You don't have to know why you love it, but pinning anything is going to help you in this stage. And then later on, we're going to refine that a little bit more. And so what you want to do is you'll find something that you like. So say, for example, I really love this one here. I think that's really cute. What you're going to do is hit this down drop here and press create board if you haven't already. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to do brainstorm dump. You can either choose to make this a secret board where no one else can see it, or you can make it a public board. If you're going to ever share this with anyone, it's easier just to keep it public, but if you do want to keep it secret, maybe you're working on some top secret stuff, make sure you toggle that secret button. I'm going to keep this public so that if you ever want to come to my Pinterest, you can actually have a look at this public board. All right, create. So once that's created, it's then going to save that pin to that board for me. And then from the future, I'm just going to save things to that board. So say, for example, I love this one. I can click this drop down arrow and press brand brainstorm dump and press save. And so I'm just going to pretty much just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, pinning things that inspire me. So I might say, all these arches, they feel really great. Let's hover down here, press save. Or I really love the way that this has repeated the kind of the text here. Let's just pin that there. And like I said, because I'm a designer, I kind of know why I like something, but you don't have to know why you like something. What you're going to do later is find there's going to be some patterns that happen. So I'm just going to keep pinning things and pinning things and pinning things. So I'm going to press speed up now, and you can just watch me scroll and scroll and pin things. Amazing. So I've gone through and pinned a few things. In contrast, I just want to show you what it would look like if I searched something totally different. Say I did bright or playful. I'm going to do playful graphic design. So playful, and you'll see this loads up a totally different sort of set of imagery. It's much more bolder. The colors are a lot more brighter. The whole style is a lot more wobbly and playful and fun. And so this is why it's really great to have those keywords, because it's going to help you to actually search for things that are actually going to be useful for your branding. A lot of my students, before they come to me, they feel really pulled in different directions of, what if it looks like this, or looks like this, or that font's really pretty, or that color's really pretty. If we have some clear direction about what we want people to feel when they work with us, that's going to be a lot more helpful in this process. So having that search term will be helpful. All right, so once we've searched maybe like calm graphic design, we're going to go through some other search phrases that I recommend. The next search phrase, especially if you're going to make a logo, is even like logo design. So you could search calm logo design, or nurturing logo design, or whatever logo design you want to do. I'm going to do calm logo design. And you can just search logo design too if you're not really sure where to start. And so you'll see here lots of really calm logos are coming up. So again, I'm just going to go through and pin anything that captures my attention. I might not know why, or I might know why, and just pin everything. Again, there's not too many pins that you can do here. This is just, it's a brainstorm dump phase. So just keep on pinning. All right, so once you've pinned a few logos, the next step is to pin some color palettes. So again, I'm just going to go in here, update this logo design to instead say color palette. Now I'm an Australian, so I'm going to spell color palette weirdly, but I think this is a really great phrase to search, because you can literally use these color palettes in your own business, in your own branding. You might not use them exactly, you might tweak some of these colors, and that happens in the next stage. But for now, we're just finding out what sort of things are being drawn to. Maybe we're like, oh, there's lots of blues here, or there's lots of oranges here, or there's lots of whites here. How can I then go into using those in my brand into the future? The next phrase I want you to search is social media. This is a really great way to find actual full designs, kind of like the graphic design search tab kind of brought up actual full designs. I think it's really important that we move beyond just color palettes and fonts and logos to actually, how does this design look in reality? Because I don't know about you, but I rarely just use my logo on its own. It's usually in the form of a whole brand. Like when you go to my social media, you don't see my logo, you see my whole brand, you see my colors, you see my fonts, and you see them working together with the brand elements and the overall style. And so thinking through for yourself of what can my actual graphics look like in totality. And I find searching social media is a really great way to do this. You can also search flyer design, poster design, all those different things, but social media is one of my favorites. Again, you can pair this with any word that you like. You can change up your words, or you can keep it the same word. You'll see here again, these designs are looking quite calm. So again, I'm going to go through and pin lots of these to my brain dump board. All right, and the last phrase I want you to search is font pairings. Font pairings. This is going to bring up a whole range of different fonts in the world that I could think about using for my business. You could just search fonts if you want to, but I always like doing pairings because it kind of seems to bring up a few more things, but you can totally just search fonts as well. In fact, I'm just going to try that now. Yeah, this is just as great. So feel free to search fonts or font pairings. Either one is going to be lovely. And this can just give you a bit of an idea of the kind of fonts you might use in your business. Are you going to use really bold and chunky fonts, or are you going to use more dainty kind of serif-based fonts? If you're unsure what I'm talking about, feel free to head to the fonts video that I share in one of my other tutorials. It'll give you a lot more of a rundown of the kind of fonts and how you can choose the ones that suit your business. But this mood board stage is really, really great for choosing fonts. So again, going to go through and pin any fonts that I'm like, being drawn to, feel calm to me, feel like they might represent my branding, and pin those to my board as well. Amazing. So once you've done that, you can go back and go through all those search terms as many times as you like and create as many, literally add as many pins as you want. The more, I believe, the better, especially if you've really gotten specific on the search terms that you're using in terms of calm or feminine or playful or corporate or whatever your words are. So once you've got your brainstorm board, what you're going to do now is actually go through and delete things that you don't want. So don't feel like you need to save all the things that you found in the first place. What we're going to look for is, what is some repetition here, and where did I get distracted? Where did I see a pretty thing that looked cute but isn't actually related to my branding, or isn't actually related to the direction I might want to go? So really, it's like a game of one of these things is not like the other. And I want you to go through and delete things that isn't like the other. So start looking for patterns. So if we just scroll down slowly here on my board, we can see there's lots of blues, Over here, we can see there's lots of oranges. We can see that repetition here. Got a random purple in here. Probably going to have to kick him out because it's not relevant. Or I might find some more blues and blues and blues. Start looking for these patterns here. There's a few greens here. Do I want to go greens or not? So you can look for color repetition. You can also look for font repetition. You see this font here is quite bold, but this one here is quite dainty. This one here is quite bold, but this one here is quite dainty. So thinking for yourself, do I want to go bold or do I want to go dainty? You can be as ruthless as you like here. You can keep everything if you really want to, or if you really start to notice some patterns and some repetition, then start deleting the things that don't match. You're like, actually, no, I don't want to do that bold font. Why did I pin that? So I'm going to go through and delete some pins now. So the way that you delete pins is by going to organize here, and then this allows you to select pins. And so really, really quickly, you can just select all the pins you think don't belong. So I'm going to select this one here. That's got a really bold font. I'm going to select this one here because it's purple and got more of a modern kind of vibe than my more kind of really subtle kind of cutout kind of cutesy vibe. Keep scrolling here, keep scrolling here. That one there feels a little bit bold as well. This one does too. I could go this direction, but I haven't been anything else like this. So I'm going to cut that one out as well. You don't have to cut anything out if you don't want to. If you feel like you just want to keep everything there as inspiration, feel free to do that. But if you're noticing anything that's going to really distract you or pull you away from your main brand's vibe, then maybe delete it so you don't get confused later on. So that's enough. I'm going to delete now. I'm going to hit this little trash can down here, press delete. And now they go on my brand board is quite succinct, quite compact, and really, really clear around what I need it to be, which is how it's going to direct me, or if you hire a designer to create my brand and what that's going to look like, what it's going to be based on. And so you don't have to use any of these exact colors or exact fonts or exact layouts in your whole brand vibe. But you'll see here from when I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to create, now I've got this whole vision board of ideas, of inspiration, and it's something that's going to sit as a bit of a foundation for me as I go forward to create my brand. So I hope that's been a helpful process for you to create your own mood board. You could then take some of these, people usually take these a step further and maybe like take some screenshots or save these images, upload them into a Canva document. I actually don't find that very useful. I find just having something here that's more living and breathing and that I can edit and change as I need to really quickly, more helpful. But if you want to take it that step further and upload those images into a Canva mood board, you could literally just search the Canva templates mood board and it will pop up with heaps of different things for you. And you can make even like an at a glance mood board should you desire. But this is where I stop. But if you want to go that step further, that is totally okay. So I hope you found that helpful. If you have and you would like to learn more about elevating your brand, particularly if you are in a stage of business where you might have been in business for a couple of years and you've even never really sat down and made a really great brand and you've kind of just been always all over the place, or you've had a brand, but it's time to up level, it's time to move to that next stage in your business, I would love to invite you to the Elevate Your Brand workshop. I'm running it live very, very soon, and I would love to have you join me. It's going to be on Monday, the 19th of June, and it is a $27 ticket, and I would love to have you there. It is going to be a 2-hour workshop live with me. You can get feedback together, and I'm going to actually teach you some really, really key steps to elevating your business's brand. Because I don't know about you, but the way that your business looks is going to tell your audience the value of what you share and what you do. And so if you've been in business for a while and it's time to up level, to move to the next level, to scale your business, to grow to that next stage in your business, you're going to need an elevated brand to get you there. And I want to help you to create it. And so if you're really interested in like, you know what, I'm sick of just kind of like just guessing this stuff, or I'm sick of just paying a designer thousands of dollars and not getting what I want. Whatever stage you're at, I want to invite you to the Elevate Your Brand workshop. Again, I'm running it live on Monday, the 19th of June, 2023. If you're catching this afterwards, there might be a replay up somewhere, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be putting up a replay, but I want you to join me live in person, and we are going to go through a 2-hour workshop. I'm going to teach you some really great things around creating your own brand, the things you need to make sure you're thinking about to make sure it lasts a distance, that it's going to really attract your audience and it looks professional and like it's going to stand out to your audience. And so please join me. You can jump to the link in the description to grab your ticket now. So thank you for joining me. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that like button if you have enjoyed today's content. And I'm so excited to see you more in the future. And if you've got any requests for tutorials, feel free to let me know in the comments as well. And let me know in the comments too, what are you going to make your brand mood board for? What are the keywords that you're using as you search Pinterest? Like today I used calm. What words are you going to use? Is it going to be playful? Is it going to be corporate? Is it going to be feminine? Beachy? Those are some really cool words. Let me know what your word is going to be in the comments, and I would love to chat along with you and see how that goes. All right, I'll see you at the Elevate Your Brand workshop and next week for another video. Bye.